When a 3D print fails, the default behavior is just to reprint it and move on. But what if instead you decided to make that failure part of the final product? Not long ago, I made a miniature Proton Pack. Did you see that video? Because if you didn't, first of all, pa-tink, it's going to be right up there. But also, get subscribed and turn on the notifications so you never miss another thing that I do. Now that print came out awesome. I really love the final result, but it was missing a few critical pieces. So I decided to print a pedestal to throw that thing on, as well as a neutrona wand and a ghost trap. And in the process of printing those, I ran into a partial failure on the pedestal that actually looked so cool that I decided to incorporate it into the final product. Because you know what they say.
Well, when life gives you lemons.
The models that I'm working with come from Dunning-Kruger on Elm Street over on Thingiverse, and I printed them on my Creality LD2H resin printer. Now the failure shows up as a sort of Y-shaped indentation in the top surface of that pedestal. Now, I didn't get great shots of it before I actually started working, so instead here are a couple of snapshots from the video just to show what it looks like, both before and after primer. I couldn't tell you exactly how this happened, but I can tell you that it's not the printer's fault, it's not the model's fault. Instead, it's probably on me being cheap. You see, I used a really thin and cheap FEP sheet. I bought actually a whole ton of those things, and they kind of creased themselves. Well, at least one of them did. Yeah, here's a look at that FEP sheet now, and it's just... ugh. Now, if you're wondering, Ken, did you throw away the rest of those FEP sheets? They seem really cheap. No, I did not, because I don't want to spend any more money than I have to.
Actually, I don't really want to spend any money at all.
Before we get to the part where I embrace the failure, let's watch the other bits and pieces come together. Now onto that pedestal. I want it to look dilapidated and destroyed. It's going to look like it's made out of concrete, with the Ghostbusters logo being metal that's rusting and kind of staining the concrete around it. It should look like something that's been left standing and forgotten about since 1989.
No.
Not saying it's entirely a metaphor, but it kind of feels like it. Now, in that same vein, that Y-shaped indentation, that partial failure there, to me it looks like cracks in the pavement. So I want to kind of lean into that and add a little bit of slime or ectoplasm oozing out of that. And I might even use a rotary tool to add some additional cracks to the rest of this project. Now enjoy this montage of me making that pedestal, featuring a song that goes way too hard for the video that it accompanies. if you needed any further proof that I am not a professional painter, that I have no idea what I'm doing, and blind luck plays a huge role in my final outcomes, well, let me give you some of that proof. I didn't know how to emulate the texture of concrete, and I didn't bother to look anything up. I thought, you know what, I'm smart enough, I can probably innovate my way there. So what I ended up doing was mixing a fine sand into some acrylic paint and sort of painting on texture. Now when it dried, it looked horrendous. I hated it. So I scraped off that sand with a little X-Acto knife, and here's the stupid part. The little bitty craters left in the paint from where I scraped that sand off, it created a really compelling looking concrete texture. I just failed my way into a halfway decent result.
I guess we just got lucky.
All that's left to do is to get a nice proper look at this thing. Take a peek, won't ya?
Drop it.
Okay, very, very, very happy with the way that turned out. It looks spectacular. I'm so happy. And I'm happy that yet again I was able to mask for all of my many, many deficiencies and shortcomings when it comes to resin 3D printing, as well as painting and finishing miniatures. I still have no idea what I'm doing, but the final results don't show that. It's so awesome. So cool. Listen, speaking of so cool, you're so cool for being with me all the way to the end of the video. If you want to elevate yourself, though, to my favorite viewer of all time, all you've got to do, like, comment, and share this video with somebody you think might like it. That's it. Do that, and you become my #1. Anyways, I'll see you next time. Bye. Bye. Wow, that turned out way better. It's like a metaphor. It's like a thing that's just like it's a really cool thing that I'm doing. It's like a really cool thing.